Hi, your rates. You already know that a computer is made up of hardware and software. And you've learned that hardware can be internal, which is, well, inside of the case, or external, like the peripherals that you plug in. But have you ever thought about what these different pieces of hardware actually do with data? Today is the start of our continuing journey to understand what a computer is. But in today's lesson, we are going to answer the question, what do input, output, and storage devices do to data? By the end of this lesson, you'll understand how input devices like keyboards and mice send data into the computer, how output devices like monitors and printers receive data and turn it into something we can see or hear, and how storage devices like hard drives and USB sticks keep that data safe for later. This knowledge will give us a deeper understanding of how a computer handles data and why each of these devices plays an important role in helping computers function properly. Hardware is the physical parts of a computer. We obviously, when we look at a computer, can see a keyboard, a mouse, a monitor, and a case. And we think that that's what a computer is, but without software, the programs that run on our computer, the computer doesn't really work. Hardware, though, are the things that we can touch or pick up or move around. It can be both internal, which is inside of the case, or external, which means outside of the case. Remember, those external pieces of hardware are called peripherals. Hardware devices can be categorized in three different ways: input devices, output devices, and storage devices. Each of these hardware components has a certain job. Depending on that job, it will fit into one or sometimes two of these categories. Let's first take input devices that are used to provide data to a computer system. It gives data to a computer that allows the user to interact with it. Most common examples are things like the mouse and keyboard in front of you. Without them, you wouldn't be able to control what happens on your screen. Other examples are things like touchpads that have sensors to figure out where it is that you want the cursor to go. But also things like cameras, webcams, microphones. These are all things that send data to a computer and then the computer stores it or uses it in some way. An input device can be any device that sends data to a computer to do something with. Other more nuanced examples are fingerprint scanners, card readers, barcode scanners, and even thermostats. Storage devices, however, are just there to record or store data. Basically, it just keeps it safe so you can use it later. Storage is where things like applications, user files, and the operating system are stored when we're not using them. Most of the time, these storage devices are inside of our case. Sometimes, though, they can be peripherals, like a USB stick or a DVD. And the last category are output devices. Now, output devices are used to communicate or display data that has already been processed. It receives data from the computer and displays it in some way that you can either see or hear. For example, a monitor, you can see what's happening. A printer prints out a sheet of paper that you can then see. Speakers blare out sound that you can hear. All of these devices receive data and then display it to you. The monitor doesn't know what it needs to show until the computer tells it what to show. Let's string along everything from input to output there. Let's imagine that we've moved the cursor around on our screen. The mouse sends data to the computer to tell it that you want to move the cursor. The computer then tells the monitor where the cursor has been moved. The monitor then shows you where that cursor is moved.